Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about gender sensitization and why this subject called gender sensitization is included in your curriculum. Sometime back when we were students, we never talked about this gender sensitization, neither we knew anything about this topic called gender sensitization. And moreover, even if we had a little knowledge about this gender, we never talked because it was considered a taboo. We never talked any issues related to gender publicly. But now the time has changed, and since it is a very sensitive issue and there is a need to create an awareness about this gender sensitization, it is included in your curriculum. And now I'm going to talk about this gender issue and the differences between sexes and gender, and why we should study about this gender we are going to talk. And now I begin with unit 1, which is followed by some comprehension questions. And your syllabus is divided into 5 units here. And these units are like this, students. Unit 1 talks about understanding the gender, and Unit 2 talks about gender and biology. Unit 3 talks about gender and labor. And Unit 4 talks about issues of violence. And finally, Unit 5 talks about gender coexistence. So these are the 5 units you have to learn as well as prepare for the examination. After all, writing examination also is an important aspect of your career. So from the examination point of view, you are supposed to learn all these 5 units thoroughly. So I'm going to give a general overview. Since this is the first class for you, I'm not going to overwhelm you with a lot of information. I'm going to just introduce all these units to you and a general view of these. These are the types of genders. There are many different gender identities, like including male, female, transgender, gender neutral, non-binary, agender, pangender, genderqueer, two-spirit, third gender, and all, or none, or a combination of these. So these are a few types of gender identities I'm telling you now, but there are many gender, like nearly 60 gender identities are there. So you can refer to them. Those who are interested can refer to them on the internet. Now let's watch a small clipping which shows about this kind of gender differentiations.
All right, folks, here we go. A romaine and kale salad with avocado, cucumber, shishito peppers, and 4 kinds of cheese. Sprinkled in balsamic straight from Italy.
Wow! In my day, salads only had 2 ingredients. A rock-hard wedge of iceberg lettuce and a stinky old dried-up tomato.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to eat fast. Alex is stopping by in a few minutes to work on our robotics project.
Alex? Is that the girl with that weird dog? Or the boy with the hat with the wings that flap?
No, Uncle Jay. This is Alex.
Oh, okay. I remember. A very nice young... Come to think of it, well, is Alex a boy or a girl?
Actually, Alex doesn't define themselves as boy or girl.
What else is there?
Back in your day, most people understood the world in terms of just boys and girls. But now, we know gender is more complex than that.
Wait, aren't we just talking about whether you're born with a or a hee?
When you're born, your sex is assigned in a medical way, but the sex listed on your birth certificate may not necessarily match your gender identity.
Gender identity is a person's inner experience of who they are in terms of gender, their deep personal sense of being male, female, a blend of both, or neither.
And while many people have a gender identity that's the same as their assigned birth sex of female or male, that's not always the case, because gender exists on a spectrum. Like transgender, which means a person whose gender identity is not consistent with their assigned birth sex. Non-binary, which means a person whose identity doesn't fall in the category of either male or female. And genderqueer or gender fluid, which means a person who does not identify themselves as having a specific gender at all.
Does gender identity have to do with being straight or gay?
Actually, no. Gender identity has to do with the way you feel about yourself. while sexual orientation is based on the way you feel toward others, the people you may or may not be attracted to.
You know, I really like Alex, and I can tell they're a good friend to you, but I'm still pretty confused about all of this.
That's okay. You don't have to fully understand someone to respect them. To start, try not to make any assumptions about a person's gender, and use the name and pronouns that they ask you to. Above all, be a friend or ally for people of all gender identities.
That's right, Mom. Oh, Alex is here. Come on in.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, hey, Alex. Care for some salad? The balsamic's right from Italy, you know.
So that is regarding the gender identity. Students, you might have understood how these genders really play an important role in understanding a person and respecting a person. So these are the different types of genders where we talked about it. And in that short animated movie, it's very clearly told you need not understand it completely. But just because he has some gender issues, we cannot look down upon them. We have to respect them. And the major question comes the pronouns. What pronouns to be used? He or she or whatever it is. So it is up to them. Whatever pronoun they wanted to be identified with, we have to use that. Otherwise, the plural. Go with the plural without bothering about grammar. Themselves. We can use themselves, it seems, the pronoun. Even for the singular also we can use. You might have noticed it in that the character tells Alex wants themselves to be identified like this. So grammar doesn't play any role over there. So these are the issues. Gender identity is how a person considers themselves, how their inner vision tells them to look at the world. They can get attracted to any type of people they want to get. So that is what, and he mentions two types of people very clearly, straight and gay. Straight is another name for this binary. That means without any issues, which is considered as normal in the society. That is called as straight. That means the cisgenders. There is a other term called cisgenders, normal or straight. These are the three terms which can be used for persons who are considered normal. So again, normal definitions, you and I cannot give a definition like normal because nobody is responsible for their birth or for their gender identity. But majority of the people are accepted in the society with this kind of binary, male and female. Even in the application forms, we can see that there are columns like sex where we used to write female and male. But nowadays, these three columns and more columns are also introduced, like intersex, male to female or female to male. So these are the new changes. We have identified these. Now under Unit 1, Understanding the Gender, we are going to discuss gender sensitization and its need, socialization and the stereotypes, preparing for womanhood. We talk about a poem by titled Girl, written by Jamaica Kinsey, and Radam, short story by Gogu Shamala. Then we will discuss First Lessons in Caste by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Growing Up Male, Different Masculinities. We talk about a famous educationist Krishna Kumar and his theory of segregation. Then we also study one short story written by Muhammad Qadir Babu, Fluency over Language. He talks about the need of fluency over language to be called as intelligent people or the clevers of the class. Then we will move on to discuss comprehension questions with solutions. So along with the questions, I am going to discuss all these issues. The first one is what is meant by gender. So gender is the physical and social condition of being male or female. The important reason why we should study gender is that the experience of gender is emotionally charged for everyone and especially for young adults. Gender is an important consideration in the process of development and gender influences human options, conditions and experiences. Legal, political, economic, cultural, and kinship systems are all profoundly gendered. Deep understanding of gender patterns, dynamics, and biases can enhance the accuracy and scope of work in many fields. So, gender is just the physical and social condition of being male or female. It tells a person's identity. Next, why should we study gender? So, gender studies is vital because sex, love, care, and reproduction are basic dimensions in life, and yet the meaning of gender is contested. So, it is very vital. It also offers updated empirical knowledge, that means research-based knowledge about gendered practices, norms, and discourses in politically significant ways. It also offers systematic analysis of the meaning of sex and gender in past and present societies and produces notions, methodologies, and theories with which to grasp how gender categories are entangled in other categories and practices, which is still given no or low priority in many academic disciplines. So it is vital and it gives updated empirical knowledge and it also offers systematic analysis. That's why we should study gender, because it's a very sensitive issue. Then why is gender awareness important in our society? So deep understanding of gender patterns, dynamics and biases can enhance the accuracy and scope of work in many fields. Gender influences human options, conditions and experiences because legal, political, economic, cultural and kinship systems are all profoundly based upon the issues of gender. And evidence shows that educators need to have gender awareness to be open to girls' and boys' choices in learning and development and help children explore who they are and make connections to people around them, as well as gain self-confidence, well-being, peer acceptance and social support. Gender awareness raising aims at increasing general sensitivity, understanding and knowledge about gender equality or inequality. Awareness raising is a process which helps to facilitate the exchange of ideas, improve mutual understanding and develop competencies and skills necessary for societal change. What are the 4 types of genders prevalent in the society generally? So, in English, the 4 genders of noun are masculine, feminine and the 2 types of transgenders. So, masculine noun refers to words for a male figure and male member of a species like man, boy, actor and horse. Feminine noun refers to female figures or female members of a species, that is woman, girl, actress, mare, etc. Mare is the female horse. Transgender people are people whose gender identity is different from the gender they were taught to be at birth. Trans is often used as shorthand for transgender. When we are born, a doctor usually says that we are male or female based on what our bodies look like. A trans woman is a male to female, transsexual or transgender person. That means that the gradual orientation is there. Maybe at the time the human being is born as a woman or a girl, but gradually there is a transformation physically and emotionally. That is called as MTF, male to female. And a trans man is a female to male, that is transsexual or transgender person. That means a person is born like a man, but there is gradual change or an orientation towards female to male. That means physically and mentally there are changes. Now, how many types of genders are there apart from the 4 general types? There are many different gender identities including male, female, transgender, gender neutral, non-binary, agender, pangender, genderqueer, two-spirit, a third gender and all. None or a combination of these. So there are many genders, like there are 60 gender orientations found till now. So please watch this small animation which tells us that there are different genders apart from the binaries, that is male and female. And what is socialization? Socialization is the process through which society shapes and trains people to become social individuals. In this process, boys and girls are trained to be the kind of people their society wants. The training begins early in the family. This training continues in schools through teachers, textbooks, games, and other activities. Boys especially learn a great deal about being a man from friends, movie songs, films, and stories. Girls and boys learn the correct forms of behavior. Girls become shy, soft, and docile. They also learn to remain silent even when insulted or attacked. This is often regarded as preparation for marriage and womanhood. So this is the socialization. Actually, it's a process. Then the famous poem Girl, written by Jamaica Kincaid, captures the process through which socialization happens. It clearly depicts the relentlessness, its irrationality, and its violence. In the extract from the story Radam, we get a glimpse of the terrible risk faced by a young girl who is chosen by the powerful upper caste men to be a jogini. Thus, socialization is a process of acquiring social skills, cultural norms, and societal customs. Although the process continues throughout life, socialization plays a significant role in psychological development during childhood. Children who are completely deprived of social contact in their early years may, in some cases, be unable to develop culturally accepted social skills as adults. That means when the boys and girls are segregated, separated, then they are deprived to understand the social skills. And what is counter-socialization? School should be the places of counter-socialization. Analyze. So, counter-socialization means resisting and compensating for the oppressive and elitist structures of societal norms. In short, it refers to breaking the negative gender stereotypes prescribed by the society. This line of thought would lead us to reflect on the ways and means by which the school can act as a counter-socializer in the process of gender sensitization. The three major sources of socialization that affect children are family, school, and society. Children learn their values, norms, and beliefs from schools through teachers, books, games, and other activities. Krishna Kumar, a prominent educationist, suggests that since conventional socialization gives rise to many problems, schools can be the means to counter socialization of stereotyped manners and ways. If the communities believe in segregating boys and girls during adolescence, the school must set an alternative example by encouraging co-education. The school must insist that the adults working in schools will not act in stereotyped ways. He wishes that the school media, the textbooks, and other materials should offer images and symbols that motivate the reader to look at the human beings in terms of their own struggle for an identity, rather than as reciting prefabricated ideas and conservation. That means they should be protesting and they should resist these preconceived notions of socialization. Like boys should look like this, girls should like this, look like this, they should behave like this. All these norms should be broken, and the school is only the place. What are gender roles and gender stereotypes? The attitudes and expectations surrounding gender roles are not typically based on any inherent or natural gender differences, but on gender stereotypes or oversimplified notions about the attitudes, traits, and behavior patterns of males and females. That means the roles and responsibilities are separately given to males and females. So gender stereotyping refers to the practice of ascribing to an individual woman or man specific attributes, characteristics, or roles by reason only of her or his membership in the social group of women or men. That means men should look like this, men should have haircut like this, women should wear these type of dresses, women's hair should be made like this. So all those norms are called stereotyping. Give any 4 examples of gender stereotypes. So girls should play with dolls and boys should play with trucks. Boys should be directed to like blue and green color, girls towards red and pink. Boys should not wear dresses other or other clothes typically associated with girl clothes. And these are some more examples which we have already discussed in the class. Give any 4 examples. Out of these, you can select any 4 stereotypes so that you can prepare. All these are given very clearly. Write the summary of the poem, The Girl. Jamaica Kinsey's 1978 poem Girl depicts a conversation between a mother and a daughter. The main points in the short story include: the mother gives beneficial and negative stereotypic information to the daughter. That means how she should behave. So they are totally different from boys. Parents can be overbearing on their children, and society continues to impose stereotypes on children. These are the 3 important objectives which are highlighted in that poem, Girl. And the characteristic feature of that poem is it is only 1 line. So though it is very lengthy, you will not come across any full stops in that poem. The poem provides a glimpse of the relationship between a girl and her mother. The girl represents Kinsey in her youth. The story shows that in this relationship, the mother tries to prescribe the behaviors that she deems appropriate for females. She expects and imposes these behaviors on the girl. In addition, it is apparent that the girl is constrained within these prescribed behaviors. Such constrictive condition is a result of the mother's dominant behavior towards the girl. Considering Kinsey's background as well as the cultural keywords used, the poem emphasizes how certain cultural characteristics are passed on through the generations. In this regard, the story focuses on the significance of familial relationships in shaping individual behavior. So the mother tells the girl, you should wash the clothes, colored clothes on one day, white clothes on one day, you should sit like this, you should not play marbles, you should sing these songs only in the Sunday school, that is in the church, you should not sing those songs. All those examples or instructions are given by the mother. Does the girl in the excerpt from Radam know what is happening to her? Discuss. Or, naming a lower caste woman as Jogini is one feature of upper caste power in Telangana. How did the girl's family members in Radam excerpt fight against the cruel social customs that try to oppress them? Narrate the excerpt. So, Radam, which means raw wound, is a short story written by the Telangana writer Gogu Shamala. In this excerpt, a little girl who is the protagonist, that means the main character of the story, wakes up and finds herself in the middle of preparations for her departure to a school in the town far away. The air is thick with anxiety and despair, which she cannot understand. Yet she follows instruction obediently and flees from the village. Flees means run away from the village, along with her father, to a residential school in a town where she would be admitted. The reason for this is that the sarpanch of the village, that means the head of the village, wants to designate her as a Jogini, means a sacred woman whose life is dedicated to the service of God, which is masquerading, that means cheating. The true fact that her designation is used for the sexual satisfaction of the landlords and the elite of the village. That is the actual story behind that. So naming a Madiga woman, Madiga is a subcaste, as a Jogini is one of the many features of upper caste power in Telangana. The excerpt shows us that some Madiga girls' poverty is not only the obstacle to education. They must take great risks to defy the orders of the landlords, face great violence, and even leave their lands and their village in order to educate their young girls. Hence, growing up as a girl then is not the same experience for all girls. So this is about a custom which is prevalent in most of the Telangana areas. Examine the experiences that the 9-year-old Ambedkar encountered through his journey from Dapoli to Goregaon in the lesson, first lesson in the caste, or which incident had left an indelible impression on the mind of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as a child in the lesson, the first lesson in the caste system. So, in the extract, first lesson in caste by B.R. Ambedkar recounts his childhood experiences that left an indelible impression on him. It gives us an insight into why he became a social reformer who campaigned against social discrimination towards the Dalits. Dalits is again a social caste which was considered a lower caste. Some of the experiences that the 9-year-old Ambedkar encountered through his journey from Dapoli to Goregaon give an insight into Ambedkar that for society he was an untouchable. So, when Ambedkar was waiting for his father at the station along with other brothers and sisters, the station master came to inquire. When the station master got to know that they were Mahars, that means lower caste, he was stunned. His face underwent a sudden change and he did not care about them anymore. After a long wait for their father, Ambedkar decided to leave the station all by themselves in a bullock cart. Through the station master, the reply that Ambedkar was Mahar had gone round among the cartmen, and not one of them was prepared to suffer, being polluted and demeaned themselves by carrying passengers of untouchable caste. So the cartmen refused to give lift to them because if they touch them, they become polluted and they demean themselves. So that is the reason. Even though Ambedkar and his brothers and sisters were prepared to pay double the fare, at last when Ambedkar said that he himself will drive the cart, one of the cartmen agreed and offered the cart. Midway, Ambedkar felt thirsty. Even for water, he struggled a lot only because he was a Mahar or an untouchable. These experiences and incidents left an indelible impression on him, made him think about untouchables and the social evils prevalent at that time. 12th question. Education and privilege are important to gain fluency in any language, whether it is English or Telugu, and those who speak fluently are usually intelligent. Is it true? Discuss with reference to the lesson different masculinities. Education and privilege are important to gain fluency in any language. It is not that those who speak fluently are only intelligent. In the lesson, Different Masculinities, the protagonist is the author, Muhammad Khadir Babu himself. He narrates his own experiences and prejudices that as a young boy he faced in his village school. He was ridiculed by his teachers and classmates and lost the opportunities just because he was not expressive. The two girls in his class used to grab all attention and opportunities because they were expressive and smart. He burned with resentment and envy watching their antics. They always looked down upon him because of his poverty and poor language skills. He was getting desperate to avenge his humiliation. Finally, he understood the drawbacks of his personality and gains confidence and gives his best during the school annual day celebration. He raised a storm on the stage by reciting a popular movie monologue of Gabbar Singh. Then onwards, he was called upon to lead the prayer at assembly. Thus, he feels that fluency is also an aspect to be considered intelligent. Question number 13. The eminent educationist Krishna Kumar thinks that education should try and change the way society socializes women and men. What was his experience towards segregation in the lesson Growing Up Male? In the lesson Growing Up Male, the eminent educationist Krishna Kumar thinks back to his own experience as a boy. He does this in order to better understand, point number 1, being a man in the society, and point number 2, how schools can help improve the way girls and boys relate to each other today. Segregation of boys and girls in schools is a major problem. Girls are restricted to protected places and are not encouraged to play or move around with ease in public places. The architectural differences between boys and girls schools also is an important aspect of our school culture, and it has persisted to this day. Without everyday contact with girls, boys stop thinking of them as individuals. Girls become a great mystery that boys have to painfully solve. Hence, as men, they end up fearing women and feeling that the only way to relate to women is to dominate and control them. Towards the end of the essay, the author suggests that since conventional socialization gives rise to so many problems, schools should be places of counter-socialization. By this, he means that education should try and change the way society tries to mold women and men. If the community believes in segregating boys and girls, the school must set an alternative example by mixing the sexes. In the world outside the school, knowledge about sex is a taboo. That means it's forbidden. In the school, such knowledge must be accessible. So that was about gender, understanding the gender and the various issues related to gender. Hope you have understood it very clearly. And if you really made sense out of this video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and then that is the like button, and share and subscribe. Let's meet up in the next video with Unit 2, and let's meet up in the next video, and then the link for the next video, that is Unit 2, is given in the description box. Check it. Bye-bye. See you. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Take care.